Today, I will tell you what I think about the Jay Shetty introduced in the report. From a biblical point of view, distance, he says, is also a concept introduced in ancient Greek philosophy, where ancient Greek philosophers emphasized distance to recognize things properly. He has been fascinated by a passage from the Manu Sutra, one of the ancient Veda sutras. This is how he interprets the phrase, if you protect your karma protects you. Karma means the purpose of life. A word similar to this is in the Bible, Daniel chapter 9 verse 4. I prayed to the Lord my God and confessed, saying, O Lord, the great and awesome God, who keeps covenant and steadfast love with those who love him and keep his commandments. Jay Shetty says the pursuit of individual karma is a shortcut to happiness, whereas the Bible teaches that genuine human happiness lies in bringing God closer. St. Augustine's central idea, which has laid the cornerstone of Christianity since the Apostle Paul, is the theory of happiness. Augustine pursued goodness in which possession fills all desires and sustains peace. In conclusion, he who owns God is to be the only man with joy, and as a result, the passion for God is the only way to happiness. Your soul knows what the best good is. That is God. I honestly don't focus much on happiness, he said. I think happiness is the result of finding our Dhamma rather than any destination. In Jay Shetty's theory of happiness, changing karma to God becomes the Bible's theory of happiness. But the difference is that man, God's creation, can be truly happy when he pursues God. Modern people in the SNS era constantly struggle with a monster called comparison. He says that if we focus on others, we lose our way. Instead of comparison, it is better to feel the selfless joy of mudita, the success of others, and learn to focus on our opportunities for success. The Bible refers to the irreproachable joy that can be understood by reading Luke chapter 10 verse 41. But the Lord answered her, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. But one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. Many gurus, including him, say empty your mind. But what's empty is bound to be filled with something. This is a more natural phenomenon. Therefore, it is better to fill your heart with good things than open your mind. The heart is stable when filled with God, not when it is empty. Let me give you an example. This was from a cartoon I read when I was young. A boy trained in martial arts at Shaolin Temple has completed all the courses, and only the test remains. Among the difficulties he had to pass was crossing the upper stream of the fast-flowing river. Senior trainees with better physical conditions than the boy failed to cross the rapids. But only the boy crossed the fast current. How could the boy have crossed the river? If he were Bear Grylls. The boy went into the water and carried a rock he could lift on his back with buoyancy. So the boy moved the rock and crossed the river little by little without being swept away by the current. Got it? This is how you cross the rapids of life. You can never cross the river when you are out of your mind. Instead, fill your inner side with something reliable that any storm will not shake. That's how you cross the rapids. To me, the trustworthy being is God. God is the most reliable and unshakable castle. What truth you will follow is your choice. But please bear this in mind. Nothing new under the sun. And it's only after death how valuable the teachings of thinkers are. If the learning continues for a long time after death, it is practical. Otherwise, it is worthless. So I hope you have the actual truth that the trend won't sway.